Good morning again, Year 3. Welcome to Thursday's maths lesson on the 25th of February 2021. Can you write today's short date and the learning objective in your book, please? The learning objective today is to make bar charts. Because we are doing statistics, we are going to be learning about lots of different tables and charts that we can use to interpret our data. Today we're focusing on bar charts. Pause the video and give yourself some time. So, let's move on. For a warm-up, can you answer each question? So look at the tallies and see what number is represented in each of these representations. And then let's practice our times tables again. And then can you tell me the difference between those numbers below? Pause to give yourself some time. Right then, let's check our answers. So remember from the other day's lesson, we know that this gate, we call it, where the line is crossed through it, that represents a 5. So we can count up in 5s to make that quick. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well done. Let's count this one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and one more, 26. Now let's practice our 2 times tables here. We're counting up in 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Let's practice the 5 times table. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And the last one, we're counting up in 10s. We can do that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. So now let's look at the difference between these numbers. So how can we work out the difference? We can start at 8 and count up on our fingers until we get to 12. We can have 12 take away 8 to help us work it out, or we can just use 8 add something equals 12, and we can use addition or multiplicator or subtraction to help us. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I counted 4 times on my fingers. And the next one is 25 and 40. Now that's a little bit tricky to count up, but we can count up in 10s. So 35, if we count on one more 10. Add another 5 to make it 40, so the answer is 15. Or you could subtract, it is your choice, whatever's easier for you. So let's get ready to learn about bar charts. So we've already looked at some different types of charts that we can use, and we've represented them in tables. We have a tally chart, which is this top one, and we have these ones down here, which we call pictograms. I like to remember it as in picture, like picture, because they are using pictures to help represent. So can you work out what amount is here and this one here, please? Remember to look at the key to tell you how much each picture is worth. Pause the video to give yourself time. Fantastic, well done if you've done that. So on Monday, so the key here is 1 dog equals 10. Okay, so on Monday we saw 10, 20 dogs. Tuesday, just 10. Wednesday, 10, 20, 30. Thursday, we've got 10, and what would half of a dog be? Well, half of 10 is 5, so that one will be 15. And Friday, 10, 20, 30, 40. And here a goal represents 2. A football, represents 2 goals. So we can count up in 2s using our scale and our key. 2, 4, so Alex scored 4. Jack, he scored half of 2, so it's half, 1. Jack scored 1. Mo scored 2, 4, and one more is 5. Rosie scored 2, 4, 6, and Whitney scored 2 and another one 3. Well done. So let's look at this sort of bar chart that we have. So the bar chart is represented using these bars to show us how to represent the data. So let's have a look. What do we notice? What can we see in this bar chart? So I can see a title. So here, this data that we are representing is children's favourite lessons. So we can see that we have PE is the most popular lesson because more children have voted for PE. What is the least popular lesson? Well done. Music is the least popular lesson because it has the least amount of votes. What can you tell me about maths and English? You can say that more children voted for maths than English, or less children voted for English than maths. What other information on this bar chart would be useful? So we've got our title, we've got the lessons that each children have voted for. So this is the x-axis because it goes across. So we could have something going up the y-axis, which is this one here. We can have numbers. So we can use these numbers to help show which children like each lesson. So how many children liked PE? Let's follow it across. So go to PE. So go across the x-axis, up the y, and we can see that 5 children voted for PE. How many children voted for music? So go across to music, go up and across. 2 children voted for music. What is the difference between the children that voted for music and the children that voted for PE? 3 more children voted for PE than music. You can see, you can do your take away here, your subtraction to help work out, or you can count up. 1, 2, 3. You can use the bar chart to help you. So let's change our scale here, so the amount of children. Let's change that because sometimes it doesn't need to count up in ones, it can count up in 2s or 10s or whatever you want your scale to be, just like the pictogram. So I want you to work out now these questions. So pause the video to give yourself some time and have a think. Well done. So how many children chose PE? Well done. 10 children chose PE. How many children chose music? 4 children chose music. How many more children chose music than PE? So the difference is 6. Well done. So here we have a table with some data. Can you use this data and make it into a bar chart? Make sure you've got your title, points scored during a game. So what will we have across the x-axis? Well, sorry, on the y-axis you will have the numbers going up. You will have the scale. So will this scale work for our data? Have a think. So this graph only goes up to 6, but we've got some children that scored 8 and 11. So it won't work because it's not long enough. Let's change our scale to this now. So we're counting up in 10s. Will that work? Yes, it will work because we've got amount there. We've got 11. We can represent 11 on this chart. So across the x-axis, we will have the children or the players so that we can represent them by going across the x-axis and up the y to represent what they scored. So this is what mine looks like. Now this looks okay, but as you can see, we can't really see precisely how much each children have scored. So we can change our axes differently to go up in 2s, even though we have odd numbers. So let's have a look at how we can represent this using odd numbers. So Annie scored 8. Dora, where will Dora's bar chart go to? So here's 2, here is 4. Oops, sorry. Dora's will be halfway in between, because that will be 3. Now you try with Ron. Where would Ron's be? All the way up there in between 10 and 12, because that is 11. And finally, Teddy will score 6. Can you have a go again to try and represent this information using the tally chart on this data? So we've got sports and children. So our title could be Children's Favourite Sports. So have a think. Work out the totals of each amount, each tally. Figure out the scale that you can use, and then figure out what you will put across the x-axis. Pause the video to have a go. So you can have it going up in 2s on the y-axis, and that represents our scale, because the highest amount of children we have is 12, and we have 12 children that want to play football. Along the bottom, we will have the sports that the children like to play. So here is mine that I have drawn out. Well done. Remember, between 4 and 6 is 5. So 5 children played rugby, and 7 children played tennis. Can you pause the video and answer these questions in your book, please, using this bar chart for help? So, which sports were preferred by an odd number? An odd number is when it's in the middle, and that is rugby and tennis. How many fewer children chose hockey than football? So here is football with 12, hockey with 4, and you are working out the difference. The difference is 8. How many children were asked for their favourite sport altogether? So you need to add up all the children that took part. And the answer is 28. Here I've got another task for you to do. So if I pick out a card 30 times, how many times will each number be picked out? So you can do this at home. Get a plain piece of paper and write down numbers 1 to 6. And then we can make a table like this, and you can write down your score and your tallies and your total. So you need to shuffle your cards and pick out a random card one at a time. You need to do this 30 times and make sure that you write down each tally of the amount of times that you pick out each number. Now try and do that on a bar chart and see if you could think of any questions to investigate on your own. So for instance, if I shuffle my cards and I pull out a 5, I will write a tally chart in the 5 column, and you will do this each time. After you've done this, you can move on to your activity in your learning pack. So choose whichever challenge you think is suited for you and give the questions a try. If it's too easy, move on to the next challenge. See how many you can get through. If you have any questions about your learning, contact the Year 3 at huckcloud.sheffield.sch.uk for any questions that you might have. Thank you for taking part in today's lesson, and I will see you soon. Bye.